Hitting the road in the Amarok.
Surfboards and kayaks are strapped on the top.
Got ourselves a caravan.
We're taking time off work.
COVID had us cooped up too long.
We're sending us berserk.
Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery.
Every day's a gift.
The Windsor Rapid is our home.
We've always got it hitched.
People seem to plan ahead.
Where we're headed, we don't know.
Surfing, kayaking, e-bike, swimming, we make it up as we go. Setting up, packing up, on the road again. Setting up, packing up, over and over again. Isolations, vaccinations, got us going mad.
I'm travelling with my son.
I'm travelling with my dad.
Switch off, it's like nearly fully charged. It's more than fully charged, but it's nearly at the point, I think it's 4 point. Off, yep. There's what you had. Hi everyone, we've left the Seahorse Inn down at Eden, and now we've stopped at the Buchan River rest for a little break, a bit of a long drive. So having a bit of a break, we're heading off to the Buchan Caves. And you heard it right, it's the Buchan Caves, not the thing that sounds like that. Yeah. Yeah, a bit of a journey up in the East Gippsland ranges. Stop for a bit of a lunch. We have some tuna wraps. We'll let you know heading there tonight. Maybe it looks like a bit of rain. You might encounter a bit of rain on the way, or maybe tonight. Don't know really. The coast has been really windy. Bit of a big southerlies like for a couple of days now. So pretty much unable to really do any water activities due to that. So we decided to head up into the mountains to get away from that. Well, now and then we're going to head down to Torquay and do the Great Ocean Road.
Yep. Hopefully we're able to check out the Buchan Caves, and hopefully the fires didn't affect it too much, and we're able to have a nice explore. And
yeah, we know the pool's closed.
Yeah.
We know some trails have been affected. Some of the buildings and structures have been damaged by the fire. We don't know to what extent or how much repair is undertaken. We'll find out when we get there. We're doing this is all part of the adventure. We'll have a look and find out when we get there. tickets, campground, accommodation is all that way. A bit of wrong order of things, but yeah. Before we forgot we fucked up. There very well. I'll just feed it. Whoa. Don't yank it. We can just always yank it. We can just always take it easy. Please go past it, yes. Came from left like you said, hopefully that's the only spot. Okay. Hang on, walk. Okay. Not too fast because I've got to feed it, okay? Can you reach?
Yeah, I think so. Keep going.
Yep.
Good?
Yeah, it won't be long, Blake. That high here. Something like that. already cold here. Blocked it a little bit too much, eh? Maybe that's better. I think that's better. He normally has his fake beard on. Oh, we're going to
Yeah, over here looks all right. Can you hold the bag?
Yeah. Both going to roll around. Oh, it's got the stairs here. Okay, that's what that sticky's, those stairs. Probably neat. Skip. Hey, Skip. Hey, Skip.
Veggies aren't cooked from that, Charlie?
Perfect. What do you reckon? You tell me.
Hello everyone. I just thought I'd like to share my thoughts on Eden after visiting there. My dad and I visited that place before coming here to the Buchan Caves, and I think it's important that I share my thoughts, and my dad also shares the same thoughts as I do. It was interesting. We went to the museum, and the museum was informative, and we did a little bit more research after leaving, and I'm discovering that the more I research about my own heritage, the sadder it is. And after leaving that place, I was quite emotional and quite saddened by it all. Just in regards to the way the Aboriginal people were treated, and the way the orcas and whales were treated and just exploited. The story goes, and it's an incredible story, the Aboriginal people had this amazing bond between the orcas, where they would hunt together, they would share food together, and the Aboriginal people believe that the orca whales are their ancestors, and they called them their brothers, and the word for brothers was biawas. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. The Aboriginal people didn't have a written language, and the traditional caretakers of Eden are the Yuin people and the Monaro people, and they had this amazing bond, this incredible bond between the orca whales for at least 10,000 years, perhaps since time immemorable. And my dad and I were just thinking, how do you form that kind of relationship between an orca whale or a killer whale? How do you begin that relationship? How do you talk to the whale? How do you build that trust? And they had this trust and this relationship for, like I said, at least 10,000 years. The Europeans came here, they saw a way to exploit that relationship. They used the Aboriginal people to catch the whales. The way it worked was there was, at the time of the Europeans when they arrived, there was a killer whale called Old Tom. And Old Tom was the leader of the orca whales at the time when the Europeans arrived, and so he would come to shore to let the whalers know that my team and I have rounded up a whale for you. So then they'd jump on their whaling boats and head out. They'd use the Aboriginal people primarily to be rowing the boats because they had the strength and the speed to row, as well as the superior eyesight. They didn't even need to use binoculars. They'd head out onto the whaling boats to catch the whale, and old Tom would even help sometimes grab hold of the rope on the whaling boats to help drag out the boats. And over time his teeth had worn down to the gum, and you could see just how badly his teeth had worn. In the museum they had his skeleton on display. They found him dead in the ocean, and they decided to take his remains back to the museum to put on display. And he only lived to about the age of 35, which is about half of his life expectancy. And after old Tom had died, that was it. That bond between the Aboriginal people and the orcas is now gone forever. And to just think that for over 10,000 years there was that bond, ongoing bond, generations of Aboriginal people, generations of the orca whales, and destroyed in only one generation, or less than, because as I said, Tom only lived to about 35. There were Aboriginal people who were considered valuable, so they were given these dog collars, essentially, that they'd wear. It was like a brass plate that had their name and their use. And the Aboriginal people weren't considered human beings until 1967, so before then they were just considered flora and fauna. My mother was actually born in 1966, so when she was born she wasn't actually considered a human being until 1967. And it just really saddens me the way that my people are treated, or have been treated, still are being treated. Like in Rio Tinto, they're still destroying sacred sites in Western Australia. And just the same in the museum, there was a stone, a sacred stone, that the Aboriginal people were using to carve their tools and weapons for thousands of years. And that was stolen from its place and put into the museum on display. And that's just another thing that is just disrespectful. Looking at the stone, you could see where the Aboriginal people had carved their tools and weapons. There were grooves and markings, which obviously over time, I mean, like I said, thousands of years of using that stone, and it was a sacred place. I mean, that's generations upon generations visiting that stone to carve their tools, grandparents teaching their grandchildren and so on. Thousands of years, and that's just taken from there, stolen from there, just to be put into a museum for other people to look at. And it's just really sad. I believe it's very important for me to share how I feel on these matters, and even the didgeridoo I've had to learn how to play by myself, watching YouTube videos, because my ancestors are not here to teach me. And I've come up with a bit of a sad song that I'd like to play. I'm not sure if there is a sad song to be played on didgeridoos. Again, I haven't been taught, so I've just made it up myself, and I'd like to share that here with you.
Nice and easy. got hold of there. Yeah, hold it. There we go. There we go. Gonna go, yep, okay. I was worried about they were gonna be, you know, bend them backwards or something. No deal. Got it? Yep. Okay. And down. Nice, yep. Yep. Yep, and it's lift out here, that's it. Just like that, just tilt it in. Maybe they're not long enough, what do you reckon? Maybe we'll make them longer.
No, you do have to tighten this at the top. I mean, loosen it so it gets closer.
Hang on. Yep. So it only goes to there, that's it, that's as far as it goes. And now we go and drop the whole thing down. Nice and easy. Yep. That's it. The bottom. Yep. Yep. And then washer. That size. Too big. Alright, so now this tells me which side's the positive. See there? So it's got the thing. So your load is the center. I've got earth is this side, and I've got supply on the other side. So that's positive, okay? Not somewhere else. There we go, we've got 13 volts. So the battery's good, okay? So I've got red there. Okay, that's the red one. Red is the power. I'll just double check. And I think it doesn't matter that much really, because I think it will just mean that it'll be the opposite, if you know what I mean. So power that side, same deal. We just got to make sure they don't connect to each other. It's not a very good connection anyway. Look at it. I'll give that a squeeze. Just sliding on the tongue like that, you know. So I'll just give it a bit of a squeeze like that, but not too much. It'll just be tighter, you know. See. And importantly, like I said, we've got to make sure they don't come into contact with each other. Let's just check with this one. We won't fix it if it doesn't need to be, and that should be it. Okay, so we still don't have power then. So what's wrong? So something's wrong. That's still not right. So all I can do then is try it the other way. Then I've got the wire wrong. You know? But we had, when I first pulled it out, we actually had red light. There we go. We got red light. So I just had them. I was the wrong one. So now this is a flow thing that I'll have in line so I can test the power. And we've got power. We've just fixed it. Fridge will run. See? Tells we've got 13 volts. There's no draw. That means nothing's plugged in to draw power. The battery, that's just telling me what the battery's doing. I've done that so we could keep, it's for just when it's an in-between thing that I've used when I'm running the fridge. So I can have a look and see how much it's using. So I can look at it and go, but that's before I got the Bluetooth one. But we just fixed it, all right?
That's good.
Well, I'm stressing out because no fridge is a problem. You can imagine. It's a sticky tape one. Yeah. It's all right. So new fuse and sticky tape, and we're fixed. See how they've got a wire that's crossed from one to, see, it's just like two tings. It's a bit of wire. It's like the weakest link. So in the circuit, it goes through there, and that's the weakest. That's weaker than like the relay or weaker than anything else. So that's a safety mechanism. So when that separates, like that, when it separates, then it doesn't conduct. All right, so it stops it. So everything not catching on fire or things like that, you know.
Got power there, so it's all good. Let's just double check this again. Power off, power on. There we go, so power tech. There it is. Power works. Okay.
Yep. Yep. G'day everyone, us again. We're just leaving Buchan Caves, heading towards Torquay, a bit of a 5-hour drive. Buchan Caves is pretty nice. It rained pretty much the whole time we were there, except for today.
Yeah,
We got a blue sky to drive out, but as it happens, it's sort of a funny thing. A little bit of a technical issue as we left. We weren't running our Dometic fridge from the battery, so we found that we had a busted wire and a blown fuse. Yeah, other than that, we done a really good walk. There's really nice walks that we had there. We ended up not doing the cave. We went up to have a look, but we would have had to show the
proof of vaccination.
yeah, proof of vaccination and all that type of thing. And we thought, oh, well, you know, sort of close confines with all people from God knows where, going into a small cave. So we opted not to do the cave. There's plenty of native animals and that around, and we did a bit of drone flying and too wet for the e-bikes also.
Yeah, we didn't get the e-bikes out. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, but we done a really good walk, a really huge walk. It was one of those walks where you think, do we turn around and go back, or do we keep going? But it turned out, because it was wet and raining the whole way, we got pretty wet, spray coats and all that on. But yeah, it was just beautiful. It was like nice and fresh and clean, like a beautiful walk, what I like, you know, and especially since I don't want to get sunburned too much.
Yeah, it was a good change from a beach destination as well, I guess. Like, instead of kayaking, the walking and just something different. But yeah, and there was no reception down here, so that was different as well. But there was a payphone we had to use that was free, thankfully, so we were able to use that.
There was a couple of nice barbecues. We ate well. We stopped in at Orbost before we got there and stocked up at the IGA, a bit of veggies and food. So we had some couple of nice barbecues with chops and wraps. We had wraps. So we're eating well. We're definitely eating well.
Yeah, and we lost the drone as well. Flying around, we thought we'd be a bit creative and a bit daring. So there was this small bridge outside of our caravan. We thought, oh, let's go under that, follow the river. But yeah, we smashed into the wall and lost it. We were trying walking up and down the river trying to find it, and eventually we thought, well, maybe it's sunk. So we were in there with our thongs and our Crocs and digging underneath the bridge, and thankfully my dad found it. It seems to be a bit damaged. I don't know if it's going to work, but at least we got the SIM card out, so we were able to salvage those drone shots we took. But yeah, we'll find out. Yeah.
I'm writing that one off as operator error. But we you try to fly along the river under the bridge and smashed into the wall.
Yeah.
So anyway, you'll see the footage of that anyway. He's got that, so yeah.
Hopefully we can.
Nobody got hurt.
Hopefully it ends up being fixed. We've got put a sock inside where the battery goes, wrapped it in a sock. Hopefully it absorbs a bit of the moisture.
We need a sack of rice or something, I think.
Yeah.
We don't have a sack of rice, but we're going to get a sack of rice.
Yeah. Otherwise we might have to get another drone. So, but hopefully that's not the case.